Welcome back to Former Fat Guy Fitness. Now, any former or current fat guy will tell you one of our all-time favorite snacks, breakfast, lunch, dinner, hell, even dessert, is cereal. Whether it's giant bowls of Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Puffs, Fruit Loops, Captain Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, they were wonderful. They were also one of the first things that had to go when I went on my diet. But thanks to Joe Duff's Cinnamon Toast Crunch recipe, I can now enjoy cereal for less than half the calories with 3 times the protein. Not to mention I also use it as a pie crust and a cobbler cover. So today I'm going to show you how I meal prep my cereal for an entire month, and it only takes about 45 minutes worth of work. So let's get started. To get started, you're going to want to get your ingredients. We're using 8 Joseph Lavish breads. We have 75 grams of cinnamon, and I'm using 40 grams of 0-calorie sweetener. I'm choosing stevia. You can use whatever you want though. Outside of that, this is going to involve a little bit more work than the other recipes we've done up to this point. This is what your counter is going to want to look like when you get started. I use 2 cutting boards. I have 2 baking sheets with parchment paper lined out on top of them. You're going to want a pizza cutter to cut everything up when you're done. You are going to need a no-calorie butter spray. No, I do not count the calories on this. You're also going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Mine just finished there. But no, I do not count the calories on the butter spray. Yes, I understand that there is an insignificant amount of calories added to it, but I underestimate my calories on a day-to-day basis anyway, so I can account for things like this, gums, whatever it may be. You're also going to want a food scale to make this process a little bit easier, as I always recommend. And as always, the links for anything you might need here will be in the description down below, along with the ingredients and the macros. One other thing you'll want is going to be a box for cereal to put it in when it's all said and done. Here's the last little bit of the stuff that I made last month that I'm getting rid of. And because this is going to make a mess, I promise you, this is going to make a mess, get yourself some gloves. As you can see, I'm wearing gloves. But anyway, how you get started: take one of your lavish breads, pop it down, take your other lavish bread, pop it down. And what I do is I take my bowl with the cinnamon and the sugars here, pop it on the food scale and zero it out. And the best way to get started is to make sure your bread will actually have everything stick to it. So we take our lavish breads, take your 0-calorie spray, and just quickly go over it. You don't want to coat it too much, but you do want it to be moist enough to where things will stick to it. But after that, take your spoon or whatever kind of little ladle you have, and you want to measure out 7 grams of your cinnamon sugar mixture, and then just slowly sprinkle that over the top of everything here. Once you get it sprinkled on, you are going to take your hands and just mix everything into it. And just take your hands, push it all into it. After you rubbed it in, your lavish should look something like that. You take it, flip it over, and repeat. Yes, once again, I understand that was probably about 4 seconds worth of a spray, and there's going to be somebody out there who says, well, you just added 20 calories to it. It's getting divided up. It's getting put into a box. It's not going to make a difference. I never once counted calories from a no-calorie butter spray, and I still lost 100 pounds. So keep it simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. So we repeat the process again on this side here, and we get 7 grams of our cinnamon sugar mixture into the spoon. Just sprinkle it over the top of everything. And it doesn't have to be 7 grams exactly. If you cover everything and it's not 7 grams, you're good to go. If you need a little bit more, add a little bit more. There's been a few times where I've made this recipe where I've had to add a little bit at the end. But as far as I usually do things, I take an average of what the macros and the nutrition count is for things on the first 3 or 4 times that I make it. And then I just stick with that going after, because I really don't want to count the nutritional value every single time I do this. So once again, just take your hands. You see why we need the gloves now, because you will make a mess with this. Rub everything in here. Just takes a quick second. And just like that, you've got yourself a front and a back of what I call a cinnamon toast crunch sheet. When you're finished with that, Take your pizza cutter, cut it into little squares. Okay, we finished cutting that into squares. So now I just take it, put it onto your parchment paper, spread it out nice and evenly so things don't get bunched up and it will crisp up evenly. Because the one thing I do different than Joe Duff does is he does his in the microwave. I do like to put mine in the oven to get it a little bit more crispy. I do like that crunch of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So put it on your parchment paper, spread it all out. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure it's not all bundled up into one big giant, cereal wad. And then I'm gonna repeat the process for this one right here, and then I'll show you how long we cook it for. Okay, so we've got 2 baking sheets of Cinnamon Toast Crunch prepped and ready to be baked. I bake it, like I said, at 350. I do it 10 minutes. Do not go past 10 minutes. Put a timer on, sit there and watch it. Do whatever you have to. Watch it for 10 minutes, and then it might go for 1 or 2 minutes longer. You're looking just for right at the point when each of these individual pieces will break on their own if you press firmly against it. If you go past that at all, you're gonna have some burnt Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And if you're gonna go through the process of doing this, do not burn your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So I'm gonna pop these 2 in the oven for, like I said, 10 minutes. And then once that's done, I'm gonna start finishing the rest of these, because after this, it's just a rinse, lather, and repeat process. And then you've got some awesome cereal for the rest of the month. So let's pop these in. Okay, so my timer for 10 minutes just went off. I'm gonna pop this open real quick. And the test to see if it's ready is you pull one of them out, and yeah, it didn't really snap. See how it's still kind of like tight right there and it's not really breaking? Pop that back in, check one more of them here. Not quite, so it's gonna need another 30 seconds to a minute, but now you don't walk away from it. You stay right beside it and you check it every 30 seconds to a minute, because you do not want it to go past the point of done to burnt. And here's what I'm talking about. 45 seconds to a minute later, grab one of these bad boys, pop them out. There's the crunch you're looking for. Do not go past that. I mean, you can actually see it's already starting to get pretty dang brown, starting to get close to black. So this is the time. Grab an oven mitt, pull them out, and then I'm gonna let it cool here for about a minute or so. I'm gonna take it, grab the parchment papers, fold them up, put them in the cereal containers. Repeat this process for 8 lavish breads. You got yourself some awesome Cinnamon Toast Crunch for an entire month. So let me finish the rinse, lather, and repeat over here, and then we'll go over the macros. There we go. Just like that, I've got cereal for the entire month thanks to Joe Duff. So if you haven't checked his channel out, I'll put him either up in the card in the corner or in the description down below, but he really deserves all the credit in the world for this recipe. Now, comparing Cinnamon Toast Crunch that this former fat guy used to eat to the Joe Duff cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch for a 41-gram serving has 170 calories, 4 grams of fat, 33 grams of carbs, and only 2 grams of protein. Compared to the Joe Duff cereal at 41 grams, it's 80 calories for a serving, 1.7 grams of fat, 14.5 grams of carbs, and 7 grams of protein. So literally half the calories with over 3 times the amount of protein. If you like this recipe, hit the like button down below. If you have any other ideas for some low-calorie, high-protein meals you want to see, leave it in the comment as well. And if you want to see more from me, hit subscribe. It always helps the channel out. In the meantime, I got some breakfast to have. Thanks for watching.